Morning. Good morning, guys. How are you? You know your girl trying to get herself together. So y'all come on in, let YouTube know that I'm here while I make some adjustments. I hope you guys are having a wonderful Monday morning. Or did you had a wonderful week? Nobody, if you're like me on the East Coast, has really started their day. We're just getting into it. And so hopefully you guys had a wonderful weekend and was able to get some downtime, get some time where you can relax, get some time where you could actually just take in a breath of fresh air and just wind yourself down from a stressful week or a busy week. And now we getting into it, guys. Now we getting into it. So let's get to getting, right? We gonna look, your girl's sitting here trying to make adjustments before we really get started. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Happy Monday morning to everyone. And hopefully we will have a wonderful day and a wonderful week. So let's start off with just something that really is something that I've become accustomed to doing on Monday mornings for caregivers and those alike. Because you know what, parents, you're caregivers too. Let's talk about what we're going to focus on this week. Today, we're going to be talking about home safety and if somebody is irate. Good morning. Good morning, Gray Wolf. How are you? Happy Monday to you. We're going to start our day off right. We're going to start the week off right. Your strength doesn't shout, it whispers through your kindness. I'll say that again for those of you who are on and those who will be watching this later. Your strength doesn't shout, it whispers through your kindness. That's a profound statement because sometimes you walk around and you see people, they don't want praise and adulation. They don't want people to necessarily pull them aside. There is no ceremony that's going on for them, but they're very strong. They're very motivated. They carry a heavy load. They're strong people. I think each of us know people like that, and caregivers are like that. They're very strong and motivated people. Their strength doesn't shout. These people, when you think about it, and look, don't forget, thank you for the likes, guys. Thank you. Tap the screen and give me some more likes. I really appreciate it. Your strength doesn't shout, it whispers through your kindness. Thank you, Gray Wolf. Kindness is very powerful. Kindness is something that we all need. Kindness is one of the main qualities in a caregiver. Good morning, everyone. Thank you. You know, Evans, I had to try to switch it up. Namaste. I try to switch it up and I try to change it because you know what? Sometimes I need to try something different, right? Thank you guys for the likes. Thank you guys for logging on this Monday morning. Let's go into what we're talking about. Good morning, Joshua. Good morning, everyone. So, caregiver safety, which is what we all do. And thank you guys for the likes. You guys are awesome. Happy Monday morning to you all. What did you guys do this weekend? Did you get a chance to relax? Did you get a chance to just wind down? Did you plan out your week already? Good morning, everyone. I went to a vineyard with a friend. I was able to just take in the scenery, able to just relax just a little bit because last week was kind of stressful. You know, one of the things that I really am so conscious of is the fact that I'm not only a caregiver to my ailing mom, but I also have five young people. So even though three of them are grown and they're pretty much doing their whole thing, right? I still am a caregiver because I'm a parent. And so for any of you out there who are parents as well, you know you're a caregiver. You know you taking care of your kids, even though they're older, you're still there for them emotionally. You're still there for them so they can make good decisions. They are the people that you rely on, that rely on you. They lean on you, right? So you're a caregiver even when your children are grown. And so one of the things we're going to do, and I have to do this every time I start. And guys, if you've joined me on a Monday morning, there are people that I have to put in time out because there is no respect, right? First thing, Monday morning, and we start off with negativity, but we don't need that this morning. We're looking for positivity. We are caregivers. We are starting our work week. We are starting off with kindness. So that's what we want to focus on as caregivers, as parents. If you are providing services for people, hey, that's who we're talking to, okay? So your strength doesn't need to shout. That's your motivation, caregivers. Your strength doesn't need to shout. It whispers through your kindness. And so, another thing that we were going to talk about today, this weekend, like I said, I hope that you guys had a chance to relax. Happy Monday morning to all of you guys. Thank you for the likes. We're going to talk about home safety. So important when you are providing care services for people. So important that you help them and make the home safe. So if you are in a caregiver situation, or even if you are a parent, when I first had my children, right? Every parent goes on to safety mode. We're all worried about, can they get into this? What's going to happen? I've got to make sure that my kids are taken care of. When you bring your child into the home, you got to make sure that you actually are going to, let me put somebody else in timeout because, like I said, I'm also a caregiver. So we're going to put people in timeout like children because I'm going to give them care because obviously they need some attention. And so what we do when we have children, we bring them home. We make sure before they even get home that the home is safe. We make sure before they even get home that the home is well protected, right? That them as toddlers or babies, as they start to grow, they're walking around, they're going to inspect the home. And so we want to make sure, I don't know, parents, if you have done this, depending on where you are, you have the electrical outlets, you plug them up, right? Any kind of stairs that a baby or toddler can get to, you're going to put up some kind of blockade so that they can't hurt themselves. Well, you know what? You're a caregiver because you're a parent. And really, if you're a caregiver in profession or you're giving care to an elderly parent or a family member or relative, and good morning to all of you. If I didn't say hi already, I'm so sorry. I see Knee Guard. You said hello. Good morning to you too. If you're a caregiver, you've got to make sure that your home or the home you're providing care in, if you're in a home situation, is also protected. It's also making sure that they're okay, right? Because older people, unfortunately, can fall and hurt themselves. So while we're going through this whole renovation process, I think if you guys have been on some of the lives with me before, you know that we're in the midst of moving my mom to a lower level. We had a guy come in, our carpenter come in to talk about some safety measures that we have to take in order to make this transition safe. Because of her mobility, she's got to have those metal bars, metal bars placed strategically around the room where she's going to be in, and also in certain areas of the house that's going to make it easy for her. We've got to have ramps installed, right? And so one of the things that I suggested and thought about, because we have hardwood floors, is to put carpeting on the actual ramp because that's going to help make sure that she doesn't fall. She's had a couple of falls and it's been very, very traumatic for her and for us. And for us too, right? So, one of the things is not only just that, make sure you have your smoke detectors in place. Make sure, you've got your carbon monoxide, detectors as well in place. You want to make sure as you're providing care to that person that they are well cared for in the home or the place that they reside. So it goes a little bit further than just saying, I'm a caregiver. I want to make sure that they're okay. Just like you protect your babies when you bring them home, because the babies are only going to be babies. It seems like it's the toughest time when you bring them home and they're newborns, but you turn around and they're toddlers and they're walking and they're all over the place, right? And so you want to make sure that as a caregiver to your children, that they're protected, that they're safe, that they have what they need in the home. And so that's one of the things that you want to look out for. Look at ways to prevent falls and accidents within the house. Look at general, and I'm looking at my checklist, guys. Thank you for the likes. I'm looking at my checklist because y'all know I got a checklist on my Etsy store, right? And so look for different things like general home safety. Do you have fire extinguishers placed strategically around the house in case of an emergency? Do you have a to-go bag? How many of you have a to-go bag? We've been getting, and we're in this season now where there are a lot of tornadoes, a lot of natural disasters, inclement weather, right? You could lose power. Do you have your to-go bag ready? With the necessary things, do you have a list of their medications that you can put in that to-go bag? Do you have flashlights? Do you have I have a portable radio. These are some of the things, and you can go on any national retailer like Amazon or Walmart and get together a to-go bag. Do you have blankets? Do you have something that's going to possibly start a fire if you're outside, right? And need that. Do you have non-perishable food items? That's part of just making sure, depending on where you are, especially here in the US, that you have what you need in order to provide care. I would do that for my children. We do have to-go bags. We've had some tornadoes right in the area. And it's not a good feeling to see the sky get dark, to hear that rumbling sound. And so one of the things that we as a family talked about was making sure we have to-go bags, because that's also making sure that we provide the necessary safety when we are caregivers, right? You guys, happy morning to everybody. Happy Monday morning to everybody who jumped on. Tell me that you're here and tell me where you're from. If you're a caregiver, let me know. Let me know what you did this weekend in order to de-stress. De-stressing is very, very important. Relaxing is important. Like I said, I went to a vineyard with a friend, sampled several wines. Think my stomach got a little tore up, but that's okay. We're not going to talk about that. It was good just to take some time, just to relax and enjoy the scenery and to talk it out. Fortunately, the friend that I went with is also a caregiver, and she was able to tell me how she was going along on her journey. She's taking care of her parents. So we have some stories to share and some just talks to get through. And that is also something that's soothing. If you're a caregiver, you're going to have those conversations with other people who empathize with what you're going through. And so it's very important that we keep, and we've talked about this before, keep open the lines of communication with people that can provide that support to you, right? Another thing you want to talk about, if we're talking about home safety, bathroom home safety. You know, a lot of falls and a lot of accidents can happen in the home bathroom. I talked about having those metal bars that allow people with mobility issues to either grab onto or either pull up if they need support. But what about in the actual shower or in the bathtub? Are you making sure that if they got to sit down in order to shower or bathe, that that sturdiness is there, and whatever support system that they're using for their shower or their bath period? As a caregiver, you know, we have to even check and make sure that that's available. When you came home and you bathed your newborn, did you use those little baby tubs? Did you have them? Some of them, they so small you can put them in your sink, right? You can't put a newborn in the bathtub. You got to wait till that cord falls off, and I'm giving away a lot more information. But as a parent, you're a caregiver. You're going to make sure that you have what you need to bathe your newborn and your babies, right? Put them in that little baby tub as they get older because they're too small for the bathtub. Make sure they have that support. Thanks once again for the likes. I really appreciate it. And so that's the same thing you're doing when you're a caregiver. Have that non-slip or slip resistant items that are on the shower or bathtub if they don't have that walk-in bathtub, to make sure there are no falls, because that's very important. You will find that people that you're providing care to, when they have an accident, it could be detrimental. So you want to make sure that they're covered completely in so many ways. And so that's something, you know what, I wasn't seeing the messages, guys. I'm so sorry. All right, Jack. Jack, if you're here, you're going in timeout too. Let's just go ahead and put you in timeout. Unless I wasn't getting any of the, I'm so sorry, guys. I wasn't seeing any of the messages. So thank you guys for joining. Um, and then let's move on. And so I understand you got to make, yeah. So this is the thing about my forehead. I love my forehead, babes. I'm telling you. And my husband loves my forehead too. And you know what? I'm human. And let me tell you something else. There's nothing I can do about it. So if that's what you're here for, thank you. If that's what you're here for, take a good look, boos. Look, take a real good look. Get a good look of my forehead. Have fun with it. Enjoy it. Think about, how big your forehead is going to get as you age. Boy, that don't bother me. I done carried this head around my whole life. I love it. If you don't like it, you can go. Okay? Plenty of landing zone for my husband. And let me tell you something. He loves it. And so do I. So Gearhead Garage, your positivity shows me that you need some attention. You obviously need some care. And I've given you some care. So I'm going to move on to my subject. You can stay or you can leave. It doesn't matter. But obviously you have a cry for some attention. I'm here for it because I'm a parent and I'm a caregiver. So I'm going to give you some care. You were being nice. Well, you know what? You have a lot to learn, and life will teach you better than I can. So we're going to get back into safety, because that's exactly what we're talking about. You see, people who are negative first thing in the morning, they look and they get on these lives and these shows. And it's just a side note, people. You guys know how it is. You're going to reach and have people reach out who are negative today, right? They're going to say nasty things to you. They're going to try to add to your stress in your day. Don't let them. That's a cry for attention because there's something in his or her life that just ain't going right. So this is what they want to do. They want to sit here and think about how they can ruin your day, your Monday, and your week. Don't let them. Don't let the gearhead garages that exist in your world get to you. And I will get back to the show. And so I will also, Joe Nuts, let's put you in timeout, and Gearhead, you can follow and we can move on. Okay. And so getting back to safety. Safety within the home is so important. Make sure there's kitchen safety, right? Thank you guys for the likes. I really appreciate it. Thank you for the attention. I really appreciate it because obviously I need some care too. Kitchen safety is also important. You know, older people, people who are sick, but they're still mobile, are able to get around and they're able to cook and stuff like that. You want to make sure they don't hurt themselves. Make sure that they're not leaving things on. Don Holmes and Q Sue, thank you so much. I really appreciate you guys jumping on. Happy Monday morning to those who I missed. Remember the motto for today, this Motivational Monday. Your strength is, I said it and then I had the nerve to forget it. And your strength doesn't shout, it whispers through your kindness. Okay. So you're not the type of person that's walking around going, look at me, look at me, look at how great I feel. Look at all the wonderful works I do as a caregiver. People see it though, right? They see you and they are totally amazed at what you carry, the load and the responsibility that you bear. Whether you're taking care of a child, children, parent, relative, family, friend, you are doing it. And you're a strong person. It whispers through your acts of kindness. So, getting back to the home safety checklist, because we got a half an hour, I'm going to wrap this up and then we're going to talk about something else, another topic for caregiving. Kitchen safety. Make sure that the knobs are secure. Make sure that things that can hurt them are put away, especially if they're dealing with, some mental deterioration as far as what tools and items in the kitchen are not safe. You just want to make sure they're safe. You just want to make sure they're okay. And that's so important when you're going through the home safety checklist. What about medications? What about that? Sometimes when you're a caregiver, you're actually the one administering the medicine because it's on a time schedule. You don't want the person to forget. But there could be a need for you to secure the medications because that person may overtake medications, right? They may over medicate. And so as a caregiver, you're just going to go through and just check and see what needs to be secure in the home where you're providing care so that the person who you're providing services for is safe, just like you would do as a new parent, right? As a new auntie or uncle, even if you don't have children. When you go watch those nieces and nephews, you want to make sure they're safe. You check out for them just like you were a parent. All of us have caregiving qualities. All of us do acts of kindness to make sure that the people that we're providing care for are taken care of. So, shameless plug. Number one, because y'all knew it was coming, right? Shameless plug. Don't forget to go to my Etsy store and get the 30-point home inspection safety list just so you guys can check and see if the home is secure, if you are able to make sure that the person you're providing care for can't get it done by a family member, you can at least have this conversation with them, right? Have it with the person you're providing care for, and then also have it with the person that is a caregiver or their family, okay? So sorry, so sorry. My screens are not, you know, my screen is not moving up. So happy Monday to everyone who joined. And no, I don't just the spit cup. No, does she only talk to chat when she wants to rip on someone? No, my chats have not been rolling up on my screen. So I can't see as they come in, which is why I'm taking the time to roll up. Okay. And then once I see everyone's chats, I'm trying to respond. Okay. I don't know why. Now it just came up. Oh, okay. I'm just checking. I don't know why it's not scrolling up. It could be my phone. It could be, look, maybe my phone needs some care too. I don't know what's going on. But happy Monday to everybody. So let's talk about something else that I want to talk about, which is about caregiving, which is really, really important. And once again, guys, if you're putting chats in, good morning to you all. I wish you all Eve Prince Kumar, all of you, a wonderful morning. It's been rough this morning because my phone is not working. And obviously, I'm not seeing the chats, but good morning. I hope you guys have a wonderful Monday and a happy week ahead. Let's talk about something else you're going to experience when you're a caregiver. Did you ever walk into a landmine, right? When you said when you time people out, you got to scroll to the bottom and make sure. Okay, thank you, the spit cup. I didn't know that. So I have been trying to just take people off and then it just stops. Thank you for the compliment, King Angel. I really appreciate it. And you know what? As a Nigel wife, I ain't upset that it's an Africa reference. So let's keep on moving. So, one of the things, have you ever walked into a situation where the person you are giving care to is not in the best of moods? Yeah, they're not in the best of moods. You think about it, these people are hurting, they're in pain, they are dealing with some serious medical issues that for many of them will be long term. And so one of the things that you that you have to know is how to calm down your patient. I'll release a couple of videos and then I am going to just touch on some of the points as far as some calming techniques that will help you. Number one, why don't we stay calm and speak softly? Why don't we? Why don't we? When we encounter someone who is irate, our first tendency sometimes is to come right back at them, right? To come back and then force the issue, to tell them to be quiet, to kind of calm the situation down. But if we're yelling, hello, good morning to everyone. If we're yelling, if we are matching their energy in a negative way, that can actually escalate the situation. And so, one of the things that we like to do, or that I have to do, is if I notice that my mom is irate, if I notice, and I do this with other people too, sometimes a calm tone and speaking softly to them is going to de escalate the situation. It's going to help them to relax and calm down. Has anybody ever had to do that? Has anybody ever had to do that? Instead of sometimes you see these shows where someone starts arguing and the person that that's receiving that argument, they go right into. And so you got these two people, instead of trying to really resolve the conflict, both of them are yelling, both of them are angry. And that's not the way to really resolve it. Thank you for the likes. Thank you so much, Dawn. I really appreciate it. Sometimes, hello from Indonesia. Thank you guys for logging on this morning. De-escalate the situation with the person that you're providing care for by simply speaking calmly and using a soft tone. How many times have people actually received kindness? The person that you're receiving care, if it's not a relative, if it's you're in a nursing care setting, how many times do they receive human kindness, right? Someone to talk to them. And what is it? They tell me to settle down tends to have the opposite effect. For some of it, it does, Michelle. But for some older people that you're working with, if you're a caregiver, even if some of our children, let's be real, and it's not you saying settle down. That's not what I'm talking about, Michelle. I'm talking about you, if there's a conflict, just saying, you're not feeling well today, are you? What can I do to make you feel better? Are you in pain? Is there something I can do? Adjust your pillow? Do you need me to sit and talk to you? See, I didn't say settle down, did I? One of the things I know growing up, I would be like, don't tell me to calm down. I think that can all rub us the wrong way, right, Michelle? But I'm saying use other words in a calming voice. Hi from London. Hi from Russia. All these different techniques that you can use. You don't necessarily have to tell someone, and please don't tell someone shut up, right? What you can do though is use a calm voice and tone. Recognize that person is really, really in pain and needs some support. And then that way, that's going to cause them to kind of de escalate too. Because maybe no one is hearing their pain, no one's seeing their pain, no one is really addressing the issue. How do you guys feel about that? You understand what I'm saying as far as using that calm voice and speaking softly? And then also listening actively to them, right? Sometimes, how many times does someone say, "How you doing?" and then walk away? Do you really think they care about how you doing? No. They just are using it as a pleasantry at this point. How you doing? Do you need anything? Okay, I'll talk to you later. How many people do that? Sometimes we've done it ourselves. But listening actively, making sure that their needs are being heard when they're irate, especially if this is out of the norm for the person receiving care, is also another calming technique. So you could be at a doctor's appointment. They're irritated because they feel like the doctor's not listening to them. I've seen this in action. My mom will sit there and say, "Hello, everyone. Good morning, by the way, for those who have jumped on." My mom will go down her list of concerns. She'll tell people how she's feeling, and it seems like they're typing, they're not listening. She gets irate because they're not listening actively. See, someone could be in the room, but actually not listening to you. And so when you do that and use that calming technique, soft tone, but also start to listen, what can I do for you today? Tell me how I'm feeling. I understand you're frustrated. Tell me how I can make your situation better, make you more comfortable. And so that can also make them feel like they are being heard. And so, cool kid, we're talking about caregiving services and dealing with, right now, we're talking about persons who may be a little irate when they're receiving care and persons who need assistance. That's what we're talking about right now. Different techniques in order to calm them down and help them to realize that they're being heard so that they're not as frustrated. Acknowledge that that they have feelings. People who are in situations where they need care, people who are in situations where they're in pain, they need to make sure that you acknowledge that they're hurting, right? They're still humans. They're still humans. They're just humans with ailments. Humans dealing with a medical issue that they can't control. So even and think about it, I keep drawing parallel. Hello, Sanjeet. I'm well. Happy Monday to everyone who just joined. I keep drawing parallels to being a parent because parents are caregivers as well. Parents are also, you know, caregivers in their own rights. And if you're a parent, you understand that. When your child hurts themselves, children can wake up, sometimes they just in a bad mood. And if they can't express themselves as far as what's hurting, you got to play parent detective. And you've got to sit there and ask them, what hurts? Is it this? Does your tummy hurt? Does your head hurt? You know, you have to go through the whole gamut as a parent, especially because they may not be able to express themselves, right? And so, one of the things that we have to do when we're caregivers, we got to kind of go through the same thing. We have to acknowledge that they're in pain. We have to acknowledge that they're hurting. And then we have to validate that they're absolutely right to have those feelings. What we don't want, though, is them to show that irritation and frustration and take it out on everybody. So you've got to help them to calm down, right? Because people have a tendency, if I feel bad, I'm going to make everybody around me feel bad. And sometimes it's not intentional. If I feel bad, I just don't, I want, that's how you guys know I feel bad. You don't understand how I feel. I may not be in your body, in your shoes, but I have to have empathy, right? I have to empathize with what you're going through. Thank you guys for the likes and thank you for joining the live this morning. And so that's another calming technique, letting them know that they're being listened to, letting them know that they're being heard and acknowledging that their feelings are valid. Them operating their bodies at this moment, only they know, and only they can tell you what they're going through. And so we have to acknowledge that. So we've acknowledged their pain. We've acknowledged that they're not comfortable. We know their mood. So let's redirect their mood. What do they like to do? What do they like to do? Hello, everyone. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Happy Monday. We're going to start the morning off right because starting off Monday morning right will help get us hopefully through the weekend, and we will make sure that the weekend goes smoothly. So, what do they like to do? So now that we've addressed and acknowledged that they have these feelings, what do we do to redirect their attention? Do we focus on something that they like? Do you know what the person you're giving care to absolutely loves? You know, does she, cool kid? I keep telling, she takes time to listen to people, but she ain't listening to me. What have you said? You just woke up. Okay. I'm happy that you just woke up and you started today. Okay, good morning to everyone. Cool kid, I'm here to just give a couple more points and then I'm going to log off. So even though I would love to stay longer, you know, your girl work full time. So I'm going to jump on and then I got to jump off. People who have jumped on before with me know that I usually spend like a half an hour because like I said, I'm a caregiver. I got to get on and get work started before my day gets started. So I am sorry if I can't address every comment, But we're talking about giving care. So you could take this information and you can share it with someone, or you can practice it and help someone who's in need as well. And so redirect their attention, going back to the person receiving care. Make sure if they like listening to music. A lot of people who are older, and I'm just saying this as a point, they like to remember those things that made them happy when they were younger. Certain songs you may find will bring back happy memories of a certain era when they were younger, experiences that they went through that brought them pleasure and happiness. That's something else that we want to do. So I know, for instance, people in my mom's generation, they love listening to music. They love listening to R&B and soul. When I bring up the Temptations, Aretha Franklin, Patti LaBelle, certain artists that my mom absolutely loved, back from the 50s and the 60s and things like that, things that maybe her mother even listened to, it calms her right on down. It calms her right on down. And so sometimes finding a favorite song, listening to music, going through a photo album, we've talked about that before, helping them to relive some of the genre information that they experienced when they were younger, healthier, but then also helping them as a calming technique to realize that they're still the same people who are of value and we love them and we're here to nurture them during this phase of their life. Help them to remember who they were. So if you want more calming techniques, I'm gonna be dropping some videos later on this afternoon, today. And your girl's gonna be back probably on Wednesday or Thursday. And so hopefully some of the techniques that we talked about as far as the home safety list, as far as, calming them down, there are about 10 of them that I'm gonna put in 2 videos you guys will be able to find useful. Thank you guys for logging on with me this Monday morning. Once again, just motivational for all caregivers, whether you're a parent or you're taking care of someone, your strength doesn't shout. It whispers through your kindness. You are a caregiver. You have a heavy load. Many of us not only are caregivers, but we also work full time and we also are parents. We're in that sandwich generation. We carry a very weighty load of responsibility, but you can do it. You are not alone. Techniques that I'm helping to share with you guys. Hopefully you will find it helpful. Remember to repost and share with other people. Remember to go to my Etsy store and pick up some of those checklists that I have posted. This is your girl, Essie. I got to get to getting because I got to get to life. And I know you guys have to do the same thing. Have a wonderful morning. I will see you guys on Wednesday or Thursday. I'm out.